Fish fam, today in this video, we are going to be looking at what would happen if we unbanned the artifact lands. Except we are going to be standing up for the metagame with Merfolk. That's right. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to do a little bit of an experimentation with MTG Tavern, who likes to see what cards can we take off the ban list, how do they perform in the metagame against a variety of different deck lists, and he likes to play test against me. You know what? That is fine. We crushed that Hypergenesis deck, showing Hypergenesis is a bunch of jank nonsense in the face of Merfolk, and I actually think it's just a janky deck, period. But right now, we want to talk about the artifact lands. Those artifact decks, they have been getting shafted ever since Karn the Great Creator came out. And then Mox Opal got banned. Maybe we got to throw a bone to the artifact decks. But I don't even know if artifact lands are even going to do anything. In my opinion, we can take the artifact lands off the ban list. I think they're an absolute joke. I think the benefit that you get gets completely undermined by things like Stony Silence, Karn the Great Creator, and the Collector Oof, because not only do your creatures not allowed to have activated abilities anymore, your lands don't have activated abilities, so your lands don't get to tap for any mana anymore, and you could be completely locked out of the game if you chose to play with one too many of the artifact lands as your mana base. So I'm pretty confident we can take the artifact lands off the ban list, and I really don't think it's going to do very much. Look, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like a Frogmite on turn 1 or 2? I mean, probably not even on turn 1. Is a 4/4 creature for like, what, 7 mana going to overtake the metagame? And that's not even going to outclass a Tarmogoyf. I think that's ridiculous. Emery gets pretty strong. I understand that argument, but still, like, you get more vulnerable. You get more power, but you also are more vulnerable to the hate cards. People can now destroy your lands with artifact removal, lock them out, again, with Collector Oof, Stony Silence, Karn the Great Creator. So you get more power, but you are now more vulnerable than usual. So that's what I think. I think it's like a little bit more of a high variance strategy, but overall not exactly plus EV. That being said, Merfolk generally performs very badly versus artifact decks. They're very fast. They get underneath you. Blue in general does very badly versus artifacts. Like, the best you got is like Hercule's Recall, bounce everything back to your hand. Maybe that's actually pretty good in an artifact metagame. Maybe that's the case. But generally speaking, historically, Merfolk has done very poorly or struggled versus artifact-based decks, especially Affinity. But well, anyway, so I don't know if this is going to be as representative, but it's still going to be interesting how well that Merfolk can hold its ground versus an Affinity deck that has access to lands as part of their artifact strategy. And so I just have somewhat of a stock Simic list, somewhat. I mean, this is just sort of what I'm running right now in the metagame at the moment. And the only big difference is that I threw 4 Collector Oof in the sideboard because we are assuming that this is an artifact metagame and that we are going to be up against artifacts. We have to be playing around them. There's not going to be either some sort of affinity strategy or some other strategy up that we have to be prepared for. And yeah, so Collector Oof is here in the sideboard. And aside from that, I think we have a bunch of other usual suspects. Spreading Seas, Force Negation. Force Negation will be interesting to see how impactful this is, because Force Negation is not something Merfolk had access to for the history of the modern metagame up until the point where they printed Karn the Great Creator. Around the same time as Force Negation coming out, where the Spark came out, then Modern Horizons came out right after. So Force Negation, like, there weren't many Affinity decks around when Karn the Great Creator got printed, but I'm sure Force Negation would have made a huge difference against Affinity, being able to counter things like Cranial Plating. Big game, because sometimes Affinity just doesn't really do anything, and the only thing they're leaning hard on is their Cranial Plating, among some other, like Arcbound Ravager and stuff like that. But you can at least counter the plating with this thing. What else do I want to say? Yeah, so I expect I should be the loser in this match. Just because, well, I mean, I think I'm going to be leaning badly on Collector Oof, and I don't think I have the main deck to deal with Affinity creatures in the first place. Even though I'm playing with Simic, it's still like a pretty clunky version of the deck. This Chalice of the Void in the main deck, not going to do a whole lot. But who knows? Maybe Collector Oof by itself is going to win the game and prove that the artifact lands are super vulnerable, come at a huge cost if you want to get that extra synergy for your artifact strategy. All right, but before we get into our games, we are going to thank our sponsors, FusionGamingOnline.com, the one-stop shop to get all your paper cards, your deck boxes, sleeves. They've got a huge variety of like basically a huge inventory. So if you're looking for niche commander or modern cards you can't find anywhere else, always go check out Fusion Gaming Online and see if they have it in stock. And you can support the channel by using my coupon code Nikachu at checkout and save yourself 5% off all your purchases. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. You can support the channel by using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or you can save 15% off your first 3 months using my coupon code Nikachu. Okay, I'm just going to be keeping this, assuming I'm in a match blind, and the hand looks actually pretty good. If I had this hand against some random deck, I'd be very happy about it. Turn 1 Vial into like Mistbinder. Sorry, turn 1 Vial into like Chalice of the Void, and then we'd probably go like Reejerey, Mistbinder. A lot of lords. This hand is like okay against artifacts. Like you generally against Affinity, you want like a slightly more interactive hand no matter what. So Tavern is mulligan so far. Like you can't race an Affinity deck, so the lords don't really matter, is the problem. My day so far, Kolbe is pretty good. Off to a good start. Now let's see if we're gonna get our ass kicked by Affinity, just like we did back in the old days. The good old days of struggling versus Affinity, left, right, and center. Ornithopter, classic. Brother loves this card. Seed of Synod. Okay, Signal Pest. Do we have Frogmite? We do not have Frogmite or any weird nonsense turn 1. We drew a Force Negation. That's big game. So, I mean, if we're going to see Cranial Plating at any stage here, it's probably going to be over. Well, I don't know about over, but we can counter it. Was that all? Just tickling me here. Gotta be a backup. Yeah, of course there's a backup. Signal Pest. Another Signal Pest. Vault Scourge. Okay, everything's about to get pretty dangerous pretty quickly. Because this is now 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the air, and I don't really have any way of stopping any of this. A second Chalice of the Void. I Twitch stream on Sunday and on Thursday, Mr. Wyan. So I Twitch stream all my gameplay. It's going great, Star Sam. Welcome to the stream. We are playtesting versus unbanned-artifacts.deck. And so far, we're just going to lose probably... I'm trying to think of like what can I beat here. Not really much. I'm not even going to try to play this Chalice of the Void on 1. I'll play it on 0 though, just in case top deck's another Ornithopter or something. But as it stands, we're going to get outraced by everything here. I do not have a link to my opponent's deck list, but he's streaming, so look up MTG Tavern and you could probably watch it simultaneously. I think I'm going to need... I'm probably going to... Well, I think I'm just dead. This is a very good hand on the play versus Merfolk. Even if I had Collector Roof, it wouldn't even matter. I'm starting to believe I need to get desperate here. So I might have to do something like crack Waterlog Grove, hope to find Merfolk Trickster, tap something down, tick Vial up. There's like no way there's no way I'm racing any of this. I have to start blocking some damage. Okay, I'll crack this now, because if I draw Kamena Speaker, I'll want to play that. Actually, maybe I should have cracked it first, because if I didn't draw anything, I should just play a Lord. Yeah, okay, pass. What is this? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Yeah, almost dead. A pretty good card against Affinity was actually Harbinger of the Tides. It wasn't bad. It at least tempoed out the opponent a little bit. Okay, what do you think, everyone? What do you think, chat? Can I deal 23 points of damage? Can I deal 23 points of damage? I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. All right, we're going to concede. So Artifact Lands did not even prove anything in that game. Actually, on the play, what's in this deck? There's no more Amox Opal. There's just like Ornithopter. So I think I'm still going to take out the Chalice. We'll definitely bring in all the Collector Oofs. I'm going to leave some Force Negations for Cranial Plating. I'll take out Smuggler's. Well, Smuggler's Copter is not too bad. It's a non-bow with... It's a huge non-bow with Collector Oof, but maybe if I have both of them out, it's not too bad. Because I'm hoping that the Oof still does its job. Okay, I can't have too much interaction, though. Okay, so maybe I still will take out the Copter. Honestly, I've never been a fan of Silvergill Adept in this matchup. Never been a fan. 2 on creature, bad at blocking, bad at attacking. I should probably have one more Spreading Seas. Here, I'll take this out. One more Spreading Seas. Probably should have one more Force Negation. I don't know what the right thing is to do. Okay, well, maybe we'll just leave it as it is. Hey, Hoax, just checking in to quick wish you good luck today. I'll be gone while you read this. All right, see you later. Thank you very much for the good luck. I'll need it. I would love to play first. Oh, no lands. No lands again. We are playtesting versus artifact lands, and in this world, if there's such thing as like Affinity, actually, I guess Bind the Monsters. No, Bind the Monster is not good against Affinity because they can sacrifice the creature on the board. All right, I'll keep this. Dzień dobry. Termagurf, watch your modern ban list video. They were great. Hopefully you'll be making more videos like that in the future. Oh, you mean like the tier lists? Oh, we're gonna have tons of tier list videos. I'll have another one out by tomorrow. Is this Thoughtseize? We have Vault of Whispers. Okay, so I want to use my mana because I'm going to be tapping out for the next few turns, and also Vault Scourge is a pain in the ass anyway. We'll definitely hold on to the Trickster. Play Lord first. So we're playing with we're playing with all the artifact lands. This might make Spreading Seas like a lot worse. Now that I think about it. Because if I Spreading Seas an artifact land and then they sack it to Ravager, then, you know, like, what's the point of that? What? I keep thinking Frogmite's the 4/4. What's the real big one? So this isn't even that big. Mirror Enforcer, right. Anyway, Frogmite 2/2, not a very big deal. Anyway, I'm a bit outclassed at this moment, so I'm just going to pass. If Tavern attacks with everything, I will Trickster the Signal Past in combat and try to block it. I'll do my best. Might not work out. Actually, maybe I'll go for a big block. I could take down a few things here. Because Frogmite doesn't have flying, so what I can do is, like, Trickster the Signal Pest. And then block it with Master the Pearl Trident. Maybe I block this. Save myself some damage. But we trade here. So this is 3 damage. Still coming in. I got a Reedry here. But there's going to be some backup. Like, how do I win this game? I could take 6, go to 12. And then this is going to be more vulnerable in the future from attacking. Okay, I'm going to make this block. I would rather block this, but fact of the matter is that if I'm too low on resources, I'll just lose to my opponent anyway. That is a strong card. I sort of got what I wanted. Okay, what can happen here? I'm going to get hit for 3, 4, 5, 6. Go to 4. Opponent goes up to 20, but minus 7, 13. And if I top deck a Lord, this will be 5, 9, 13. All right, I have potential lethal. I'm putting myself in a position to potentially win this game. I need my opponent not to put too many creatures on the battlefield, though. I'm a bit concerned about what's in their hand. I mean, you can have, like, what? Galvanic Blast? If you're not playing creatures, you gotta have something else. Gotta be some sort of removal or Thoughtcast or something. Oh, being a little defensive. Interesting. Oh, I mean, why not attack? I mean, this is a bad block for me. Sure. So cards I want to find off the top of my deck, I think... I don't know, maybe a land, then I can Spreading Season to a Lord. Maybe that would be good enough. Aha, interesting, interesting, okay. What's it gonna be? Oh, that was terrible. That was one of the worst draws I could get. In my time of need, you give me Ether Vial. Ether Vial. How do you attach this, though? You need, you literally, oh no, you need double black to equip it at instant speed. You can use one generic to tap it for anything. All right, let's... I don't even know what I'm hoping for here. Do not know what I'm hoping for. That's not going to do it. All right, let's scoop it up. Match 1 goes to Affinity. Did we even see the power of the artifact lens? Sort of. Frogmite did come down early and got in some early beats. Don't know if that is the most broken interaction possible coming from an Affinity deck, but definitely they have the edge against Merfolk in general. Very low to the ground. And I would say being on the draw did not help me very much either. And I mulliganed twice in game 2, so definitely disadvantaged there. But still within the realm of what I expected in this match. All right, so let's go into our second match. Now that was one version of Affinity. He said he had like three artifact land decks to try out against us. That was the first one. I lost the die roll again. And honestly, I think... What would I do with this hand in Modern? It's a really tough one because if you don't curve out, you just lose very often with Merfolk. But here's the thing. I got 3 lands. So if I can get to my one more land, then I can actually cast everything in my hand. I'm going to keep this. This is a really... Like, I'm playing as if I don't know what I'm up against. If I knew I'm up against Affinity, I would mulligan this 100%. Like, easy mulligan. I don't know that, though. I'm not supposed to, at least. So I'm going to keep this. But this hand is pretty poor on the draw versus a lot of decks. But against Control, it would be good. Against Jund, it would be good. Like any attrition-based deck, it would be fine. It's not that bad of a hand. I mean, if my opponent mulligans to a bad hand, this will compete with anything. Up Past the Dawn says cranial plating would have been stronger now, but except for the fact that there wasn't much gain from the artifact lands. Yeah, so it was like like this sort of falls into what I was talking about. It's like a slight win more card. Like when it's good, it's going to be extra good, but it's going to come at a cost of making your deck extra bad when things are bad. What is this? So this is like, I guess this is classic Affinity. Maybe the first one was like Affinity with the Affinity type, and this one is now like literally classic Affinity. It's like Springleaf Drum, although it looks very damn similar. Oh, that was absolutely the best card that we could possibly draw off the top of our deck. I mean, maybe Commander Speaker is also fine, but I mean, I'm not going to complain. That was a good draw. The Great Furnace. So power and toughness are each equal to the number of artifacts you control. Other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. So this is at least a little bit bigger because of the Great Furnace in play. Yeah, well, Classic Affinity used to, once upon a time, use the Affinity mechanic. Not so much anymore. What the hell is my best route for, like, stabilizing here? I guess if I'm going to throw something under the bus, I might as well make it Silvergill Adapt if I can. I'm going to try to block this stupid Bomac Courier. We could use a Trickster, because Trickster would just kill this on the spot. We've got the Polish crowd in the comments section. Dzień dobry. Cześć. What should I be more afraid of? This 8/8 creature or all the flyers? Well, this is not going to work out so great for us because I'm going to block this. They're going to crack the Bomac Courier. Draw 3 cards. So I take 8. I don't really care about the Infect right now. What to do? Trickster. No Trickster. My hand's pretty strong. Like, if I can take one more hit without blocking anything, which is definitely not going to happen. But if that were the case, I could feel pretty confident about this game. But it looks like I have to chump block this Master of Ethereum at the very least. For what it's worth, your video in Polish is still one of my favorite pieces of MTG content. I hope to do something like that every year. I just forgot one year. Polish Day comes on like, I guess I now know. Like, I think Polish Day comes on like American Remembrance Day. Or I should say Canadian Remembrance Day. I wanted to make it like a yearly thing. I'm sure it's hilarious for the Polish crowd. I was always curious if I was like really vulgar in Polish on YouTube, would they like demonetize the video? Or are they just looking out for like the English swears? So I'm dead next turn. I really need a Trickster. Very badly. These are not Tricksters. Honestly, Trickster wouldn't even do it right now. This would actually be a pretty good hand on the play. I think I could win on the play with this hand, assuming I had Ether Vial for turn 1. But because I'm sort of on the defense, I had to sacrifice my Silvergill Adept and this hand turned to shit. This would be a very strong hand on the play. Also, good question. Did these contribute to this Master of Ethereum? Probably, but I don't think I really still don't think that this is like an overwhelming advantage. Look, my opponent's killing me by turn 5. I think by all means that is pretty fair in the grand scheme of things. All right, we'll concede. Moving on to game 2. Seems like Affinity would still be a really bad matchup for Merfolk, even without the artifact lands. Yes, I mentioned that in my in the deck tech. I do believe that the matchup will be pretty crappy no matter what. I'll take out some Silvergill Adepts, bring in Dismember, bringing in Oof, so I'll take out Copter. It's possible. I mean, if I don't see enough... I haven't seen Ravager once yet. I'm assuming there is Ravager in the deck, though. Okay, submit. Gajayest Moiriba. I did live in Poland for something like 3 years. Why aren't you playing Chalice on the play? Like, what am I hitting? Most of the important spells are 2 to 3 mana. Things like Cranial Plating, Arcbound Ravager, Steel Overseer. Like, back in the day, you could cheese out an Affinity player by playing it on 0. But there's almost nothing on 0 now. Like, what's on 0? Like, Mox Opal's banned. The only thing on 0 is, like, Ornithopter, and that's not really... Honestly, if they don't even play Ornithopter, it's not even that big of a deal. I swear, like, a lot of Affinity players against me just side out Ornithopter because it's not really about racing me. It's just being... Well, I mean, it's being fast is fine, but you just need to, like, beat me in the air. Up past the dawn. I don't actually want to be that aggressive in mulligans. You can beat Affinity by just racing and interacting. Like I'm not gonna throw like this curve is great. 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, Lord, Spreading Season, win. So I mean, this is one of the best hands that doesn't have oof. I think if he attacks with Bowmaker, I'll just block. I really hate Copter on the draw. Actually, maybe I'm just, no. You know, I'm gonna leave the Bowmac Courier. I'm gonna leave the Bowmac Courier. I think if I have one of my more aggressive hands, that I might as well leverage it. Oh, we finally found Trickster. Trickster is going to be good in this matchup. Maybe not the most OP card, but I mean, there's a point in the game where you get enough creatures on the battlefield, and then you just need to stall the opponent like 1 turn, just 1 turn. Oh fuck, that's devastating. Good old, I haven't seen you in a long time. Athenback, join the wave. Thank you very much for the sub, Athenback. Would have loved to see one more green source or anything for a Regery. Make a big comeback. Zesty Mozzarella, subscribe for 3 months. Yes, sir. Eggs, Thomas. English muffin, sausage, and coffee. And Nikachu is streaming. This is how you have breakfast at 1:40 p.m. on a Sunday. Nice. All right, we're going to get attacked by the cranial plating, which is attacking for 1 more than usual thanks to the Great Furnace. Okay, I got my land, which I'm fine with, so I'm going to hope they just don't die next turn. And then maybe I can stabilize with Trickster and Regery in combination. Besides, what's happening here? Casual Magic to see if the artifact lands are too strong? Yeah, basically. Like I said in the deck tech that I am not representative to see if these cards are too strong, because my matchup versus Affinity, even when artifact lands don't exist, is already bad. It's already pretty shitty. But we're going to test anyway for science. I have 4 oofs in the sideboard. We've got all the oofs. I have drawn it never. I have not drawn it once yet. Also, to add to that, I don't, especially against Affinity, I actually don't want to be too aggressive to look for Collector Oof, because the opponent can just still play Whip Flare. In addition to that, sometimes they just play like there was a game where my opponent had no activated abilities. They just Ornithopter, Volt Scourge, 2 Signal Pest, attack, and I died. Because you don't always need activated abilities. What the fuck is that? You have a second Whip Flare? Are you kidding me? That is bullshit. Unless you just want... Oh, they have to have a second Whip Flare. So if I block here... If I block the Bomac Courier, Regery takes 1 damage, and then Whip Flare kills everything. Can I play around Whip Flare at all? Can I take this 6? Take 6, go to 7. I actually think I can play around Whip Flare. Okay, I will not be dead. Does the artifact lands count for Metalcraft? Yep. Absolutely, because they're artifacts. They would count for Metalcraft for Hammer. Fuck, 2 Whip Flares. Unbelievable. That's the only way you can make that attack. There's no other way. Impossible. I sort of want to land here so I can play Master of the Pearl Trident, tap down Arcbound Ravager, and then still have mana up later. That is not bad. But how do I do this? Could just be bluffing? But it's too bold of a bluff. Magic players don't bluff nearly enough. I mean, it's possible. Maybe I could have just eaten that stupid thing. It doesn't make any sense, though. I mean, it had 2 cards under it. That's a lot of cards. Okay, Dismember is a very interesting draw. Okay, so I can play Master of the Pearl Trident. I can even play Trickster, untap a land to have for Dismember. That doesn't actually make much sense either, though. Or maybe it does, just in case I need to tag Inkmoth Nexus here. I need at least, this is 4, 8, 13. Ugh, they're one short from dying. I do have a Spreading Seas here, although I have nothing good to target because Arcbound Ravager can sack anything. One, 2, 3. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to untap the land. I think I'm just going to attack with a Merfolk Mistbinder. And then if they want to... They have no mana available. I'm just going to attack for 4 here with this creature. If they want to block with Ravager and then sack a bunch of stuff to it, then eventually I think that's going to not work out for them. They can, well, they can sack, what they usually can do is activate the Inkmoth Nexus in response to me playing Spreading Seas, and then boom, it becomes an artifact, then they can sacrifice it. I don't want a Spreading Seas right now because that would tap me out. I'm hoping I can live through this. I have 4 life to work with. I might not. I might not be able to beat both Inkmoth and Blinkmoth at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, actually, Inkmoth doesn't have enough artifacts in play yet. Business Casual 89, thank you so much for the Prime. The best, easiest way, and also the most free way to support the channel. Thank you very much. Send the Primes this way, people. Send me all your Primes. It's the Prime way to spend your Prime. At the very least, don't let it go to waste. Send it to some Twitch streamer. So with Trickster, I'm going to Trickster, untap a land, tap down probably the Ornithopter, and get ready to make blocks. And I don't care what Inkmoth does. And then if the opponent goes for a big dump on the Inkmoth Nexus, that's when I dismember it. I mean, I have no idea what he's going to do. Just untap everything, maybe. I mean, empty his hand and then play more stuff. It's a tense game. It always is against Affinity. Like, you're either you barely win these matches with Merfolk, or you just get slaughtered. Just get absolutely slaughtered. Although I have to say, I do feel better about my chances than the Mox Opal days. The Mox Opal days were worse. I'd be just straight up dead by now. Okay, that is sort of a problem. Okay, that's interesting. Another Bomac Courier. Okay, Overseer adds 1 to everything. One, two, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I Trickster, tap down Ornithopter, and target Ravager, then you just dump everything on Blinkmoth and I lose. I think I'm still taking this line. Tap down Ornithopter. Whoops! No! Oh! This is not what I meant to do. Alright, no. I just don't do anything. Am I just lost here? I meant to untap a land, tap down Ornithopter with the Trickster. All that for nothing. Maybe this will work out still. But not, this is not the way I wanted it to work out. Oh no, but you can just attack with everything, right? And then whatever gets through just wins. No, I was supposed to untap a land so that if the Ravager ever sacks itself on something, then I dismember it at the end. Does this make sense? What is the best blocks technically? It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, everything. Anyway, lose. Oh well. I'm curious to know how that... might I still have a win, even though I do what I do, but I'm not clear. What would happen if I just do nothing? Because if he makes no move, or maybe I have to still make a move at some point. Because if I chump block against the Ravager with Trickster, that would be very interesting. So I think I screwed that. I mean, I knew what I wanted to do, and then in the moment I accidentally tapped the Ornithopter with my Regery trigger when I wanted to do it the other way around. I wanted to untap my land, tap the creature with Regery trigger. Let's see. Simic. Let's go. All right, round 3. So far, we've been on the draw in these 2 matches. Not ideal. Oh, we won the die roll for once. I don't think against any deck I want to play this. I was running Lurrus, huh? Would I play this versus a Lurrus deck? I actually would, because most Lurrus decks have a low CMC. So Chalice is actually useful here. Okay, I'll keep it even though it's like a loose looking hand. Yeah, but like what would they do even if the opponent had last priority? Like it doesn't matter. That's not actually technically true. It's their attack step. I have the last priority. I'm assuming this is like the Hardened Scales deck now. Which Chalice on 1 should be okay. The Ozolith. Alright then. Hey, Mokoriko. Hey, we're going to attack for 1. Get in for that 1 damage. I'll tell you what I'm going to hope for. I'm going to get that Chalice in on 2. Steel Overseer, go for it. Well, these are crappy draws. Okay, so activate, attack for 4. But you don't get it driven. Okay, so they have that extra attacker, but then what do? They actually have to make a move first. Because if they don't sack anything, then I don't die. And if I don't die, then I kill them on the next turn. You either sack the Ravager to something or you don't go for the win. That's the part. Oh god, these draws have been very poor. I can only play Chalice. Chalice on 2 doesn't lock us out because I do have Cavernous Souls. This does. I don't even think this actually does very much. I mean, this is all I can do, but like they still have Hanger, Backwalker, play it for 4, no big deal. And also Walking Ballista is in the same world. So your idea driven by some, yes, they had to make the first move. It would have worked out. It's nice spot, exactly. Because if they don't make a move at all, then they don't kill me. If they don't kill me, then I kill them. But I'm not 100% sure. Because maybe they don't even attack with everything. Well, I'm just going to take that. This is a very unusual game. Oh, I gotta close the window. Be right back. Because the opponent has nothing else to do with their cards in the hand, so just throwing it away. At the very least, you just keep it in your hand and bluff some sort of interaction. I got nothing. I really got nothing at the moment. Hey, Luati. I'm doomed to get stomped by this stuff. So far, artifact lands not playing a part in this game. It would only be... It only has synergy with Arcbound Ravager, right? I think only Arcbound Ravager. Okay, what can I do here? I could double block the stupid Mimic. Lose 2 creatures, then have to deal with Hangerback Walker deep into the future. Like, this is... I mean, this is basically a combo in itself. But this is just getting bigger anyway every turn, so... It is a slow death. Let's tap down. Can't really beat any of this. Sure, whatever. It's going to activate anyway. I'm going to block with these 2 creatures because I think I need the Mutavault to help crack Waterlog Grove and draw cards. Draw cards and play creatures. Oh, great. So now this is going to move from the Osla to one of these things. Note, Chalice doesn't counter Merfolk Trickster because Cavern of Souls says that creatures cast off of Cavern of Souls cannot be countered. Have I seen enough? I've seen enough. This is impossible. All right, move on. So this matchup I am more confident in. Hardened Scales is more beatable than the other versions. Chalice is actually not that bad versus Hardened Scales. Maybe it's better than Force Negation. Maybe again I'll take out Copter, bring in some Dismembers. What else do I want to take out? Maybe Silvergill Adapt again. I'm not a fan of Silvergill Adapt in these Affinity matches. Blocks bad, attacks bad, easy to snipe off with Walking Ballista in this particular matchup. Chalice actually does sort of something. I don't want too many. I don't really like the idea of... Like, I don't mind having one. Having the second one really sucked. And then drawing 2 more vials didn't really help my my cause. Like I said, Nah, we won't see the Urza Emery artifact land deck. Apparently, MTG Tavern only made Affinity decks. It would be nice to see the Emery deck because I generally do pretty well against Urza decks. I can't keep this. I just can't. Oh, this is like I do want this, but I don't have the mana for it. Another 2 Chalice of the Voids. I didn't bring the 4th one in because if you have all 4 in, you increase the chances of having drawing both of them in your starting hand or just drawing 2 in one game. And I just want to draw 1. I'm going to mulligan this again. I'll keep this. This actually looks like the most reasonable of all the hands I've seen so far today. In fact, I'll dump the speaker. I don't like Copter and Oof in the same deck either. I was just taking one of my recent decks and just jamming Oof in it, knowing that artifact lands are apparently a thing in the metagame. Assuming they were legal. Alright. Do your fucking work. Oof. Now this is very far from over. Because Hardened Scales Affinity can do... Hardened Scales can do quite a bit without activated abilities. Still hurts them, obviously, but, I mean, they can still do stuff. Not to mention they've got a decent chunk of creature removal in the form of Fatal Push. It's not to say that Collector Roof would be bad in this matchup. It's just for Merfolk, like, it's okay, but it's just not, like, the best thing ever. Bounce artifact lands with Teferi is surprisingly fun. You cannot do that, though, right? Isn't it? You can only bounce non-land permanents. Okay, this actually was a pretty good draw, even though I've rejected it in my first 2 mulligans, because this will protect me from Fatal Push. So now I think this Collector Oof is sticking forever. There's Arcbound Ravager, not nearly as scary. Okay, Command Speaker shut off by my Chalice. So what can I do here? I could just attack. Counter goes away. Could be put on the Inkmoth Nexus. Then what? There's like a clock. 5-turn clock. And you can keep blocking with like walking, but you still need mana to activate this thing. Okay, I'm gonna lean on being more aggressive than defensive. Interesting. I would have taken that block and activated Inkmoth Nexus. Our opponent does not decide to do that. Pass. Can't play Command Speaker because of Chalice of the Void on 1 here. Oh, interesting. So it very specifically says it's not. Yeah, you know, I keep feeling like it's a non-land thing. So I guess you can bounce the artifact lands if you want to. Wouldn't say that's like the biggest game you could probably have, but it's a thing, I guess. List on 2 is okay. I will play a Lord and just attack into both of them. I have to say, I like... How many 1-drops do I have in my deck post-board? Just 4 Vial, 4 Command Speaker. And also, one of my speakers are on the bottom of my library because I scryed it. Fine with this trade. I don't think this is a good trade. Like, your life total is high, and I think you want... Oh, they get it from the Ozlith anyway. Oh, shit, I'm screwed. I thought... Okay, I screwed up. This is a good play by our opponent. Because it's going to go to Ink Moth anyway. And now that's a 3-turn clock. Yeah, the Ozolith is a triggered ability. Okay, so I have... I have a few turns to find Trickster or Spreading Seas. I need Trickster, Spreading Seas, Dismember. Oh, you gotta be kidding. I have not run well. this is all I can say. I have run pretty dog shit so far. I talk so much about I don't want to draw more than one Chalice a game. I'm going to crack the Waterlogged Grove because if I draw a land off the top of my deck, I just want to play it right now. And maybe it's a Cavern of Souls. Maybe it's a Cavern of Souls. And I could play a Kamena Speaker. There you go! Okay, so... I mean, I'm still getting raced by this stupid Inkmoth Nexus, but we're building our board. I still need an answer. I need to top deck something. But this is not really where I want to get lucky because I'm still dead on board. All right, Spreading Seas, Dismember, Trickster. I'll take any of them. Womp, womp, womp. All right, we lose. GG's. I had to just do nothing for I don't know how long. So what was coming up? Oh, don't do that to me, Dak. Don't do the next card, the very next card. They did me dirty. They did me dirty. I don't know. I think that's going to be it for the matches against the unbanned artifact lands. I don't really have much to say because I don't think my deck is representative at all. Well, first two things. In 2 out of the 3 of the matches, I was on the... well, let's start off at the beginning. Merfolk has a bad matchup versus artifact decks, period, even if the artifact lands weren't unbanned. Second off, I was on the draw 2 out of 3 of these matches and just got crushed because I definitely couldn't put up any pressure or like any game on the draw. And third, I ran bad. Like I vocally expressed why I did not want these cards in my starting hands and mulligan them away, and I was drawing the cards anyway. So I did not draw very well in almost any I wouldn't say any of the games. There was one game I drew pretty well, but I was on the draw, so it didn't end up being a very good hand. And then I could have won one game. I could have won one game if I didn't misclick. Maybe. Because I don't know how that game would have worked out. Where I accidentally played Trickster and targeted your... I was supposed to untap a land because I had a Dismember in hand. And I was supposed to tap down your Ornithopter. It was when you were playing regular Affinity. I was supposed to play Trickster, untap my land, hold up Dismember, and then tap down your Ornithopter with my Trickster, and then let you attack, and then if you sack Ravager to anything, I would have dismembered it. Well, if you're okay with your Ether Vials as a potential victims of a board sweep, at least in Simic you could sideboard 2 Creeping Corrosion. They were popular. Oh, that's way too expensive, though. I'm dead by that. Well, maybe I'm not actually dead by that point, you know? But 4 mana is still a lot. I can't expect to always be alive at 4 mana. Because I only have 20 lands in my deck. It would have won me the game. We could have gone to a game 3, and I would get my head kicked in game 3. Some things that would turn... Like the main... I changed my sideboard as if Affinity was like a deck in the metagame. Or I should say artifact lands, not necessarily Affinity, because there's more than one type of artifact deck out there. I didn't expect... If I knew Affinity, only Affinity was in the metagame, I would have had main deck Harbinger of the Tides. Yeah, I would have just played more... I would have had like 3 less Chalice of the Voids, 3 Harbinger of the Tides to at least be able to tap things during combat or slow you down during combat. Without Harbinger of the Tides against Affinity, it's pretty rough. Pretty rough. I need more, I have to interact with you, and I don't have, like, barely any interaction in the main deck outside of, like, Merfolk Tricksters. Merfolk Tricksters is a good one, but it's only 4 cards. The rest of the interaction is in the sideboard. But I need more creature interaction because I can't race an Affinity deck. But one thing of note, even with your non-flying deck, non-hyper interactive deck, still turn 5 wins on your side. That's right. Turn 5, not the fastest in the world, mind you. And definitely the artifact lands pumped the deck up a little bit, but we didn't see huge blowouts because of the artifact lands. At least I don't know. Definitely pushed the deck up. Hands down, definitely gave it a little bit of a boost, but we don't know if I wouldn't say that was oppressively good. Well, I mean, if I won the die roll, I would have liked that, but I don't know if it still would have mattered. My main deck is still pretty poor against Affinity overall. I would have loved to win the die roll. I could have won more games, that's for sure. I would have gone to more game 3s instead of just, like, scooping it up in 2. But it still would have been pretty rough. Still would have been pretty rough. I know my Affinity matchup. I need hardcore hate, and I need a better main deck for an Affinity metagame. So like I said, I don't know if I'm willing to do this science, but I don't think, because we need the reps anyway, but I don't think my deck represents if the Affinity lands are OP or not, because I'm pretty damn certain I'm going to lose in the same way, whether the Affinity lands were just regular lands or not. But let me know in the comments section below. So I'm going to keep streaming for all of you live, but for everyone on the replay, that's going to be it for our experimentation versus the artifact lands. So we're going to thank all the supporters of the Nikachu Empire. We're also going to thank our sponsors, Fusion Gaming Online and Mana Traders. This has been Nikachu playing Merfolk versus the Affinity lands in Modern.